The third quarter of Game 2 was supposed to be about momentum, but instead it turned into a whistle fest. A'ja Wilson leveled Lexi Hull with a screen that looked more like a hit stick move than a basketball play, and somehow the foul went against Hull. By the time the dust settled, the Indiana Fever had racked up 16 fouls in one quarter alone, part of an absurd 41 total. This wasn't basketball, it was chaos wrapped up as defense. Wilson got her numbers, but Hull played through a back injury from Game 1, hitting the floor again and again, never getting the whistle her way. For the Fever, it felt less like losing to the two-time champs and more like watching the referees drag them down possession after possession. And yet, even through all that, Indiana kept fighting. That's what makes this series so compelling. Game 1 wasn't just an upset, it was a statement. Kelsey Mitchell dropped 34 points and turned the Aces' home court into her personal stage. While Aaliyah Boston and the Fever defense forced Wilson into a brutal 6-4-22 shooting night, they didn't just steal a win, they controlled the game wire to wire, handing Vegas a humiliating 16-point loss that shook the league. The whistles were already uneven in that first matchup, but Indiana's dominance drowned out the noise. Fans walked away buzzing, not about the foul count, but about the Fever's poise against the defending champions. But Vegas doesn't take embarrassment lightly. Game 2 turned ugly almost from the tip. Wilson and her teammates made every possession a collision, setting moving screens, shoving cutters, locking arms with rebounders. The refs let it ride. Becky Hammond's squad knew they couldn't afford to lose twice at home, so they ratcheted up the physicality until the game looked more like a wrestling match. Indiana was forced into a half-court grind, where every rhythm was broken by a whistle or a shove. When Steph, White admitted afterward that it was hard to find flow when there's a foul called every 10 seconds. She wasn't exaggerating. The Aces weren't winning with skill alone, they were winning with interruptions. What made it even more brutal was Lexi Hull's situation. After tweaking her back in Game 1, she could have sat out. Instead, she suited up, got knocked to the hardwood multiple times, and still drained 5 threes, tying the Fever playoff record. She played through pain and punishment, delivering defiance with every shot. Meanwhile, Aaliyah Boston absorbed hit after hit in the paint, pulling down 13 rebounds while being shoved around like a veteran linebacker. Odyssey Sims chipped in 18 points, slicing through double teams only to watch her momentum erased by whistles seconds later. And yet the national coverage barely mentioned their grit. Instead, the headlines lauded Wilson's stat line, 25 points, 9 boards, 5 steals, as though the chaos and the whistles hadn't tilted the floor. Kelsey Mitchell, the star of Game 1, became the target of Vegas' real adjustments. They smothered her with double teams, face-guarded her off the ball, and turned every screen into a body check. Her 34-point explosion shrank to 13. The Aces had one goal: erase Mitchell's rhythm. And in a game dictated by fouls, it worked. Even Hammond admitted afterward that the physicality went too far. That irony is hard to ignore. The Aces benefited from the whistles. Yet even their coach wasn't comfortable with how the game unfolded. Still, Indiana walked away from Vegas with something more important than just a split. They'd proved they could dismantle the champs when allowed to play. And they'd survived a whistle-happy war when everything leaned against them. Now the series shifts to Indianapolis. Gainbridge Fieldhouse isn't just a home court, it's a fortress. 17,000 fans who have waited years for playoff basketball will be ready to erupt at every bump, every missed call, every shot. The energy that suffocated Vegas in Game 1 is about to flip sides. Becky Hammond herself admitted her team has struggled in Indy all season. That crowd doesn't sit silent, and officials can't ignore the roar when Boston gets hacked or Hull takes another hit. The Fever know it too. Hull said it best: "Our fans, they show up and they show out." Boston echoed it, admitting the team feeds off that energy. This isn't just about playing at home, it's about unleashing frustration built up over 2 games of bruises and whistles. Mitchell will be hungry to reclaim her space. Hull will have the crowd lifting her every three-pointer. Boston will no longer battle in silence. And every Fever run will hit harder, last longer, and shake Vegas in ways they couldn't feel in their own arena. The Aces may have used whistles and brute force to even the series, but Indiana's spirit never cracked. And now, with the board shifting, they step into their own building, their own energy, their own moment. The question isn't whether they can respond, it's how far they can take this fight when everything, including the crowd, is finally on their side. So what do you think? Did Vegas truly outplay Indiana in Game 2? Or did the whistles steal the show? And can the Fever turn that frustration into fire at Gamebridge? Drop your thoughts below. Comment "Let's go Lexi" to show support. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss the next chapter in this battle.